Like, I feel like I kind of have it on my brush, but then when I go and put it on my eye, it's like not really like there. It's definitely looking better, but I feel like it's getting murky now. What's going on? What is going on? Hey guys, welcome back to Amanda's Aesthetics. For those of you that are new, I am Amanda. Today is going to be a very interesting video because we are going to be doing first impressions on the brand spanking new Alter Ego Artemis palettes. This palette is so pretty in my opinion, and this is a dupe for the very high-end, very expensive Natasha Denona Metropolis palette. Now, because I have never tried the Natasha Denona Metropolis palette, I can't really give you a comparison of the two. However, I can just give you my first impressions very objectively since I haven't tried the Metropolis palette and let you know what I think about this. I have also never tried Alter Ego before, so because I am so crazy, I also bought 3 other palettes in this order. So I bought the Alter Ego Goddess palette, which I believe is a dupe for the Natasha Denona Gold palette, which I also do not own. I got their Aurora palette, which is a dupe for Natasha Denona's Sunrise palette, which I also do not own. And this is this gorgeous baby right here. And I picked up their Daydream palette. Now, I'm not entirely sure which palette this is a dupe for, but I know that it's one of Huda Beauty's palettes, but this is what this palette looks like. I just picked it up because I just thought it was really pretty. So those are the 4 palettes that I picked up from Alter Ego. I also picked up their brush sets, which I believe is like an 8-piece or 10-piece brush sets. And here is what those look like, which I'm super excited to use. I also picked up a liquid lipstick, but for the life of me, I cannot find it. So hopefully I find it while shooting this video so that we can test that out and use it, because I was super excited to use it. I'm just very disorganized at the moment. Now, I have not tried any of these palettes yet. I haven't even swatched any of them, so I have no idea how these eyeshadows are going to perform. I do know that they tried to copy or dupe Natasha Denona's formula, so they have a few different formulas in here. They have a few mattes, which actually doesn't look like they have that many mattes. It looks like they have, okay, so like matte mats, it looks like they have 3 matte mats. They have this one, and this orange right here. There are some mattes like in here, but they don't look like true mattes. They look like a different kind of formula. And I know they also have this almost like putty-like formula in a couple of their shadows to dupe Natasha Denona's, which I didn't want to try and keep track and everything, so I actually just screenshotted Teresa is Dead's video. If you haven't already checked her out, she does a great review on this palette, but I just screenshotted hers. I don't know if you guys can see that, but they literally have like fingerprints just like taken out of them. And so I figured that that was the way that I could just kind of keep track of which shadows I have to be careful with. Today's Super Status video, I don't know why I always say Super Status. I don't know, maybe that's just gonna be the new name of them. I'm so sorry if I mispronounce your name, but James Uricki, I believe it is. He is a super talented bartender, and I don't wanna say any more than that because I don't wanna spoil the video for you, so let's just check it out right now. Oh my god, when I saw this, I immediately was like, I need to feature this in one of my videos because I just think it's so cool. You don't go out to eat and see these kinds of drinks on a regular basis. So, very unique. Definitely takes a lot of practice and talent from what it looks like. I don't think anyone could just walk behind a bar and make a drink like this. So thank you, James, for letting me use your video in mine. And now let's jump into the look. All right, now that we are up close and personal, I did find my liquid lipstick. I found it. This is the gorgeous shade. It's in the shade Euphoria. I found it when looking for this bad boy because I'm such a dun-dun that I forgot that I ordered this product. But I did get their eyeshadow base. This is what it looks like. And so we're going to be testing this out today. It feels very thin. And I'm sure you could already guess, my face is already done for the sake of time. I had a Laura Mercier day today and used all of her products, and I'm just like, god damn, bitch. Actually, I did try this new, it's not new, but it's new to me. I finally hopped on the bandwagon and picked up the Hourglass Veiled Translucent Setting Powder. This shit is so bomb. So it was like a Laura Mercier day, but I cheated with Hourglass. I hope she doesn't mind. So this is applying quite well. It is fairly light, I will say, but for me being such a white piece of paper, it's okay for me. It's not really creasing as far as I can tell. I'm gonna let this dry and then we will jump on right into it. Alrighty guys, so this product didn't really dry. I don't know, maybe I didn't give it long enough. I gave it like 10 minutes. So I did go ahead and just set it with my Hourglass powder so that there's no pulling or grabbing or skidding or streaking or anything like that. I think for look number one, I'm gonna try and stay over here in the warm area. So I'm gonna start off by taking this shade. Actually, let's try this shade. This is Hunt. And again, we are using their new brushes. They are numbered, so I'm sure you could look it up and it'll tell you what each brush is for, but I'm just gonna kind of go with it. There is quite a bit of hiccup in the pan, just for those of you where that may be a thing. So that brush I used was number 3. Now I'm going to take number 7, which is just like a pencil brush, and I'm going to tap into this matte shade, which is called Snare. And I'm just going to apply that to my outer corners. And then taking that number 3 brush that we just used, I'm just going to try and blend this out. So I will say that these shadows don't really want to blend together. Maybe it's just because I went in with a heavy hand with that orange. Taking the number 1 brush, I'm actually going to go into Entice After All, and I'm just going to use that to try and help these two mattes blend together. And I feel like sometimes when you are planning on using shimmer shades, your mattes are really your base, so not everything has to be super blended because you can make up for your mistakes blending out the shimmers, but just because we are doing first impressions, I do want to see how these matte shades blend. So I think I'm going to try and deepen this outer corner a little bit more with the shade Lure. This looks like a matte, but it looks like a different formula than the other 3 mattes that we just tried. And then I'm just going to take a little bit more of Snare and pop that on top just to keep that orange. I'm going to take a little bit more of that matte yellow in Hunt, and I'm just going to apply that to the rest of my lid where there's no shadow. Alright, honestly, I'm not even going to attempt these shimmers with a brush. I'm just going to go right into my finger. And from Teresa's picture, it looks like this shade Conquer, which I want to go into next, is a very soft press, possibly one of those putty formulas. And I'm just going to tap that on the outer corners. That's a super pretty shade. I really like that, like, desaturated dark red shade. That's super pretty. And honestly, it almost like blended as I was applying it. I'm going to use my blending brush just to help it a little bit, but I feel like I don't even really need to with the shimmer. Next, I'm going into this gorgeous shade Stalk, and I'm just going to apply that kind of like on the center. So I do like how these two are blending, and I don't feel like I'm having any issues blending the shimmers, but I do kind of want to go into the shade Pounce. It just looks like this really pretty, like rusty orange brown, and I'm just gonna kind of put that in between the two shades that I applied. Again, I don't even really feel like it needed it, but I'm like digging the orange with this, and I want to keep that super warm tone to this look. I'm kind of wanting to use this camouflage, I'm wanting to use this catch, I'm wanting to use this provoke right on the inner lid. I'm not sure which one. I think we're gonna use camouflage, again, just keeping that yellow-orange vibe going. So what I'm going to try and do is I'm going to try and take a little bit of that Lure, and I'm going to try and mix it with Conquer and just pop that on the outer corner. I am taking their number 6. And then I'm going to take a little bit of Lure and Conquer on this brush since we are at it, and just put it on the outer of my lower lash. So this is the first time I'm having a little bit of fallout, and it's not bad at all, just a little bit. On the number 8 brush, I'm going to go back into Stock. This is just, I can't get enough of this shade, it's so pretty. And you know what? I was very skeptic about going into these shimmers with a brush, but at least for the lower lash, they're applying very nicely. And then right on the inner part, I'm gonna go into that shade Camouflage. Alrighty, and then for my inner corners, I feel like there's really one main shade in here for like inner corners and brow bone is this shade Obscure. So I'm just gonna tap into that with my number 7 pencil brush from them. I'm going to take my NYX Vivid Brights liner in Vivid Fire, which is like a deep red. I'm gonna use that for liquid liner today. And next I'm going to go into my LA Girl Shockwave Neon. This is actually a lip liner, but I use it on my waterline. And this is in the shade Outrage. This is just like a super pretty bright red. And then yes, for my upper waterline, I'm sure you guys have caught on by now, I'm going to use black. And I'm going to go into my Real Her I Am Amazing. Now, I was going to do black mascara, but I'm kind of feeling my burgundy mascara with this, so I'm going to use my L'Oreal Voluminous Original Mascara. This is just in the shade Burgundy, and I've used this quite a bit on this channel. I just am kind of obsessed with it. Alright, so I've got 2 options here. I've got this deep red, this NARS deep red shade, and I also have this little mini Bare Mineral sample that I got the other day, which is a very bright red. Now, I don't know, because I kind of want to do the bright red since I never do it, but I do feel like this one would just go better because I have that, like, we're doing this one. Take a picture because this never happens. Never, never, never. This is dark for me.
Like, dark.
But I do think that it goes good with the look. So, the mattes. The mattes were very pigmented. I didn't have to go into them a lot. There was a lot of kick up in the pan. There really wasn't any kick up with the shimmers because they were so wet feeling. I had a little bit of trouble blending them together, but I did get it to work with using the help of that 3rd shade. The shimmers in here are gorgeous. I don't know what this formula is, but very happy with how this turned out. I am going to try my best to wipe my eyes off, wipe my lips off. That's probably gonna be the hardest part, honestly. But I'm going to try and attempt to do that so that we can go into look 2. Welcome back. Everything is clean, like really clean, because I started to take my makeup off and then my face just looked so red that I was like,
Let me just redo everything.
that's why my face looks so much better than it did last time you saw me. Obviously, we cannot end this video without tapping into these blues and greens. So we were on this side for look number 1. We're now gonna go on to this side for look number 2. By the way, my hair is also up because it's like 100 degrees in here. So Just bear with me while I look like a man. I also already applied the, where is it? Their eyeshadow primer, or they call it an eyeshadow base. But I did already apply this, and I set it with my Hourglass Veil Nude Translucent Setting Powder. We're gonna tap into Entice, which is one of the matte shades that we used for look number 1. I don't want too much of it, but I'm just going to apply that all over, just as our like transition shade, I guess. I don't know. All right, now we're gonna go into that gorgeous olive green silent shade right here. Oh my god, I just realized I forgot my rings. Hold on, so much better. I don't know why I just feel so freaking naked without my rings on. All right, so we're gonna tap into that silent shade. Same brush with the number 3. All right, not super pigmented, this shade. Kind of liking the subtle effect that it's giving. I'm always like so optimistic. I'm like, yeah, this shade kind of sucks, it's not pigmented, but I'm kind of digging it. I'm gonna take some of that Stealth shade. This is like a super deep green. Like, I feel like I kind of have it on my brush, but then when I go and put it on my eye, it's like not really like there. All right, back into that blending brush, and we blend. Actually, I'm gonna take a little bit more of that silent shade just to help it blend. Yeah, I don't know what, maybe it's me. It probably is, but I'm having a hard time blending these shades. The mattes at least. The shimmers blend together beautifully, but it's like these mattes that I'm kind of having a hard time with. And there's really no like in-between shade that I could use. Maybe Prowl, but it's kind of gray. All right, I just cleaned off my number 1, and hopefully I don't regret this. I'm gonna try and take a little bit of Prowl. It's definitely looking better, but I feel like it's getting murky now. What's going on? What is going on? Alrighty, on my number 7 pencil brush from them, I'm going into the shade Bow. I don't know why. I mean, I'm using their base, and I feel like, honestly, if I didn't set it with the powder, it would be even worse to try and blend these things because it would just be so, like, tacky. And then I'm taking a little bit of Ambush, which is a similar shade, but not quite. Same brush, and I'm just going to apply that, like, right on the lower part of my outer corner. Alright, so let's try and blend these together. So, already going into it, I'm taking a little bit of Stealth, if I can even get any on this brush. This shade is not wanting to come on my brush. Alright, I just cleaned my brush, and I'm just gonna go in with no shadow just to help kind of like soften the edges of this. I think I'm gonna take a little bit more of that first shade, Silent, and I'm just going to pull this up slightly higher and out a little bit because this is getting pretty dark, and so I want to make sure that we have that light to it still. These two and this shade, I have to try these. So I'm gonna go in with Victory first, and again, I'm just gonna apply it to my finger and just applying that to the outer corner. Ooh, that's pretty. What I'm loving about this is that dark, like turquoise under it. It's like making it this gorgeous, I don't even know. All right, then I am tapping into that Pursuit shade, and I'm gonna put that on the center of my lid. Oh my god. Please tell me you're still seeing this and you haven't fast forwarded through, because this is so freaking pretty. Now we're gonna go into this other shade that I am dying to try, and it's this like duochrome gold, green, pink. I don't know if you guys can pick that up in the camera, but it's called Scent, and we're gonna put that in the inner part. Oh my god, look at that. Look at that. Wow. Working our way down to the lower lash. I'm gonna go into Stealth. And I'm putting that in my lash line as well. Change of plans. I'm going into that Amber shade. And I'm just gonna go right over the Stealth. Alright, on that same brush, I'm gonna go into the shade Captivate. And we're gonna go into Snare. And then I'm going to take this really pretty shade Pounce, and I'm gonna just go over the Snare with Pounce. Okay, we're gonna go into the shade Obscure, and we're just gonna pop that on the inner corner. I was contemplating on using this in look number 1, but we went with that red, and I'm hoping this isn't a mistake, but I kind of want to go in with some orange liner. So I'm gonna take my Rimmel Wonder Swipe 2-in-1 liner to shadow. Alrighty, so I'm going to probably do one more layer, but while that dries, let's do my waterline. So what I'm thinking is I want to do a color that kind of matches that, what is that shade? Scent. So I'm going to try this. I don't know how it's going to work. It is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil, but it's part of their Wired collection, which did not get a lot of love. And this is in the shade Jolt. It's a pretty like green yellow. So I'm going to see Alright, and then taking that same black liner, the Real Her Eye and Amazing in black, I'm just popping that on my upper waterline. Alright, and then for mascara, I'm taking my Bad Gal Bang by Benefit. This is a great mascara. And oh! I just noticed that. I love it. I love it, I love it, I love it. What do you guys think? Alright, I am going to apply their liquid lipstick. Again, this is in the shade Euphoria. Alrighty guys, this is look number 2 complete.
Goddamn.
That's all I can really say. First off, I guess we'll go backwards, shall we? Starting off with the liquid lipstick. Love it. Love it. It dries down matte very quickly. It is so soft and smooth when you apply it. Okay, so the shadows that I used, okay. Alright. I'm getting a little ahead of myself. Okay, so this look I do like a lot. I think it's really pretty, and I am glad that I applied the orange because I think that it complements the blue and the green very nicely. And again, I have been doing a lot of blue and green looks just because that's kind of my thing. So I thought it would be interesting to kind of spice it up with that orange, and I'm glad that I did that. The mattes. Okay, so I had a hard time using the mattes, honestly. I just couldn't blend them. I don't know why. It was just like really freaking hard to blend these things together. They just weren't wanting to cooperate with me, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's something that I was doing or what, but I was having issues with the mattes. They were pigmented, aside from this shade Silent, which I felt like wasn't really pigmented, but that's okay. These shimmers, however, were a dream. They were so nice to work with. I used my finger to apply it, all of them, aside from like my lower lash, and I feel like that's probably the best application for these shimmers. Yeah, the shimmers were really pretty, and just applying them, they just blended into each other. Like, I didn't even have to try and blend the shimmers. And the color payoff they're gorgeous. They really are, they're gorgeous. And they apply very nicely, and they apply the way that they look in the palette, which I do appreciate too, because aside from this shade Lure, I feel like this matte shade Lure, I had a little bit of trouble with just like applying it. It just didn't want to come out dark the way that it looks in the pan. But other than that, all of the shadows showed up the way that they look. Obscure was a nice little surprise. Just I feel like it looks a little bit more pink, but it has that gold undertone to it, so that was really pretty. This is probably my favorite shade scent. It's just so pretty, and I know that Natasha Denona has a shadow like this in this palette, and it's raved over, so I'm glad that I have something very similar to it now. And the eyeshadow base. Okay, so this was fine. Like, I had no issues with it, really. Like, it did its job as far as I can tell. I just feel like it was very tacky and sticky after applying it. Like, it didn't really dry down, which I don't personally like for my shadows, just because I feel like that's when you get the streaking and the skidding and stuff. I had no staining, I had no issues taking them off, so it definitely did its job. It's not something that I'm gonna rave over, but I'll definitely continue to use it. Overall, I do definitely think that this palette is worth the price. I do, I really do. I think the color story, first off, is gorgeous. I think there's so many different looks that you can make out of this palette, and just like deciding to add one shadow or not adding one shadow, I feel like it creates two completely different looks. So if you are kind of on the fence about the Metropolis palette, definitely go ahead and check this out, because you're getting, I mean, a pretty good dupe. It's got decent quality, gorgeous colors. The color story is pretty much identical for like a quarter of the price. So, I mean, you can't really beat that. Again, you know, I don't know why I even try and decide which look that I like better, because I like both of them for different reasons. Maybe I like this one better just because I feel like it's a little bit more like out there for me. I don't normally do like blues and greens with oranges, but I do like the other one as well. So go ahead in the comments, let me know which look you like better, if you liked look 1 or you liked look 2. I'm sorry we didn't get to a look 3. I don't think I can handle it right now, honestly. Like, this was a commitment, and not the palette, it was just my decisions, like my decisions to go dark red with my look, my eye look, and my lips. Like, that was probably something I should have decided to do with like the second or third look, but you know, your girl's not smart and she's just kind of winging this shit. So if you like this video, go ahead and like it, and if you're not subscribed yet, go ahead and subscribe and be a part of our cute little weird little family. Again, thank you so much to James for letting me use your awesome video. I think it would be honestly really cool to like order a drink like that. Like, that would be really cool to see in person, sort of thing, and be able to like pop the bubble. Thank you, Alter Ego, for coming out with such an incredible dupe. And I think that, you know, I think it's really smart. I'm not entirely sure how like companies get away with that sort of thing, but I'm not mad about it. Not at all. I'm very glad that I have this in my collection, and I'm definitely going to continue to use this and create a bunch of different looks with this palette. So go ahead and check this out if you haven't already, or check Alter Ego out. Check out their liquid lipstick. It's great, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.